Robert Saleh, who, as you know, is a defensive head coach, incorporating offense into his regimen. And he says it's actually year 2 of the process of understanding the vision.
For me, last year was year 1, so there was a lot of, even, I talked about it last week in my press conference, a lot of learning even for me. First time I had been a part of an offense where the quarterback had such a voice. And so a lot of it was me absorbing and along with everyone else and learning this new system. It's year 2. It's this natural evolution. We've got a really good grasp of the offense, and so just trying to provide some insight from a defensive perspective. Just to understand what they're trying to accomplish and just trying to provide some insight.
All right, so Graz, this doesn't mean obviously he's not going to tell Nathaniel Hackett certain plays to call and things like that, but it is interesting nonetheless. What's behind this?
Well, look, last year the offense fell apart completely once Aaron Rodgers got hurt, which was right away, and it never recovered. So I think when the Jets got to the offseason, the thought was, let's not just assume, oh, Aaron coming back will make everything better, because A, what if we're wrong, and B, what if he gets hurt again? So I think there were a lot of discussions about, what can we do to make sure that we don't have a repeat of last year in terms of how poorly the offense played. And they didn't make changes on the offensive coaching staff. Nathaniel Hackett's still the coordinator, but I think one of the things they came up with was Saleh, who's the head coach, who gets the blame if things go wrong, will be more of a presence, I think, in the offensive meeting rooms. I think that's probably the form this ends up taking.
All right, so let's envision this, Louis. Saleh and the offensive meeting rooms, the potential for a lot of cooks in the kitchen there. What do you make of this approach?
Look, I think Coach Saleh understands what they're up against this year. I think he understands the importance and the urgency that this organization is going to have put on it in terms of winning, in terms of the bottom line. And I think, look, a lot of times defensive coaches can give offensive coordinators and offenses overall a different perspective in terms of, hey, look, what you're doing right there, we can kind of, you're tipping your hand. We can really, clamp down on those kind of route combinations, that kind of run blocking scheme with ease. Maybe if you tweak it this way, maybe it works a little bit better here, works a little bit better there. So, look, that's why, to me, a lot of times when people kind of really look down upon defensive head coaches in the NFL, I kind of scoff at that because they can give a very good perspective in terms of, how they feel that offense is going to work against the defenses it's going to go against, because that's what their specialty is. And I think that, combined with the fact that he understands, again, given all the additions that they've made this year, just how important it is to win this year, and Aaron Rodgers has alluded to the same thing. He doesn't play well, probably everybody's going to be gone. So if you're Robert Saleh, you're probably saying, hey, look, well, being that my quarterback said that, let me get on over here and see what they're doing and make sure I can help them out in some way.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Louis. I think when you look at Robert Saleh, he understands point blank, if they don't win this year, they're gone. I mean, everybody, they're going to clean house. And I think when you have a defense that plays as good as they played last year and an offense that didn't get to 21 points in several games, I'm going to spend a lot of time in that room and that side of the ball also to make sure that these guys are coaching everything right, that they're installing everything right, that everybody is paying attention, because if our offense can pull their side of the bargain and our defense just plays status quo, they can win a lot of football games. They understand that it's about protecting Aaron Rodgers. And then how can I feature Breece Hall? The offensive line, if they stay healthy, then Aaron Rodgers will be able to make some plays down the field. But make no mistake about it. If you're the head coach, if you're the GM, if you're anybody in that organization, you are pinpointing and putting a keen eye on this offense. Because if this offense can hold their side of the bargain, this team can compete in the AFC East.
Yeah, and I think, just to add this point in here, Hannah, is the fact that, look, I think the most crucial position group, besides the quarterback, obviously, on the Jets this year is without a doubt the offensive line. And it's going to really be that rotation of three guys, on the edge, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, and the #1 pick, Ola Fashanu at tackle. Those are the guys that are going to be in the spotlight. Because, look, at least one of those three, one of the top two right there in Tyron and Morgan have to stay on the football field. They have to stay healthy at least 15, 16 games, and Ola is going to have to develop quickly because they need that protection. 30th in pass block win rate last year. That's just not going to get it. That's not going to allow Aaron Rodgers, coming off an Achilles, to play 17 weeks. It's just not. And if you're Robert Saleh and defense is your specialty and where he made his name and given where he has come from, namely San Francisco before that, and what he has right now at his disposal in terms of pass rush, you can best believe that position group in particular is where I would, if I were him, I'd be putting my eyes on immediately and saying, hey, look, listen, man, that's not going to cut it. Because this is how teams are going to attack these protections and attack these individuals. So we better have this locked down, Nathaniel, because if not, you're going to be looking for a job, I'm going to be looking for a job, and Aaron Rodgers is going to ride off into the sunset with his multi-millions that he has.
Right, and if you separate Nathaniel Hackett from Aaron Rodgers, as he has been the last 2 seasons, one with the Jets and one with the Broncos, we're talking about bottom 5 scoring offenses. It'll be fascinating. But listen, we cannot finish this discussion without a gem today from Quinnen Williams. Take a listen.
This is going to be Aaron's 20th year. Could you just...
20 years?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Aaron, 20 years in the NFL?
Yeah. Could you just...
Man. Ain't that running back, the number 0 is 20 years old?
Yeah.
So he been in the NFL as long as he been alive. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's just. By the way, number 0 is rookie running back Braylon Allen, and he was born in 2004, and he is only 20 years old. So. The New England Patriots and the NFL's 30th ranked offense last year. Plenty of inconsistent quarterback play. They bring back the very steady Jacoby Brissett, of course, and they draft Drake Maye. Fully guaranteed contract he got this week. Here's Jerod Maye on what he's seen out of Maye so far.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's taking advantage of the opportunities that he gets. And look, we're all being evaluated. I'm being evaluated. The players are being evaluated. And, hopefully everyone's open to feedback. My message is, it's not how many opportunities, it's what you do with the opportunities that you get. And look, going back to the competition part of it, the better you do on a day after day basis, not only on the field, but also in the classroom, the more reps you'll get going forward.
So our Mike Reese is out at Patriots practice today, and look at this. He was set up on the hill overlooking practice with a towel, sunscreen, water, and bucket hat. I mean, that is some veteran preparation right there. Mike, it's going to be a good day. Mike, apparently unsunburned, properly sunscreened. Was it a good day for Drake Maye too, Mike?
Hannah, I appreciate the reference to the bucket hat, but I'm going to put this in the back pocket because I wouldn't want to scare everyone on camera with the bucket hat on. But I do want to tell you, the big story here from practice remains the Patriots are taking it slow with Drake Maye. When all of the quarterbacks were on the field together, Maye is still number 3, behind Jacoby Brissett, behind Bailey Zappi. But you heard Jerod Maye mention it's about taking advantage of opportunities. And within this practice today, here's what I saw from Drake Maye. It couldn't have started much worse for him. A bad overthrow on his first throw, then they had to rehuddle on the next play, and then he had another incompletion on a botched play. But what did he do after that? I had him 14 of his next 16. Seemed to get it going, Hannah, and I asked Jacoby Brissett after practice what he's noticed from Maye in terms of his response to adversity, and he said that stood out to him from day one.
All right, thanks so much, Mike. So back with my trio here. Booger, they really have a luxury there with Jacoby Brissett, right? So theoretically, they can take their time with Maye. What looks like success to you in his first season? When would you like to see him start?
Well, first of all, I don't think the Patriots are in any position that they're going to challenge for the AFC East this year. So there should be no hurry to get Drake Maye on the field. And if you're this coaching staff, you want to make sure that in 25 he's ready to go. So at some point this season, preferably in the last quarter of the season, maybe game with 2 or 3 or 4 games left, you get this young man some experience, some tape that you can evaluate going into the offseason. But under no circumstances, and I do mean no circumstances, Lewis and Graz, are we going to put this man out there and play meaningful football early in the season? He's not ready mechanically. I don't think he's going to be ready from a playbook standpoint. And so if you're building toward the future and you're this Patriots organization, part of understanding where you're going is knowing where you are and knowing who you are. Be honest with yourself. They're not a good football team right now. So let's grow the football team. Let's develop some pieces, and let's develop this young quarterback the right way, not for this year, but for 25 and beyond.
Yeah, I think you let Drake kind of determine exactly when that time is. And look, if he shows an ability to go ahead and pick up this offense and really start to outperform guys like Jacoby Brissett and Bailey Zappi, then you kind of just let the chips fall where they may. And I think that's going to be totally dependent upon Drake, his ability to absorb the offense, his ability to really gel with Alex Van Pelt, the new offensive coordinator, who you see right there on your screen. And that's going to be critical. That relationship, that ability to go ahead and take what you're learning in the classroom, apply it to the practice field. But I think even more when you kind of like pan out and you kind of look at this from a 30,000-foot view, I think really it starts on this offensive line too now as well, because that is where I think if you're Gerard Mayo and you're Elliott Wolf, who's in charge of personnel up there, you've got to make sure inside out and front to back that things are set before you do put him out there, Boog. And I do agree with you. And especially on this left side of the offensive line, they may be starting 2 rookies. They may be starting a 3rd and 4th rounder in Caden Wallace from Penn State, Layden Robinson from Texas A&M. You got to make sure those things are straight. These young wide receivers, Javon Baker, Jalen Polk, you got to make sure Drake gets reps with them. Make sure that you are, while you're planning for the future, you're also saying, hey, look, is the future now? Is the future sooner than we expect? So I think you let this all play itself out. But, yeah, there are a lot of moving parts, man. A lot of moving parts with this football team you have to consider. And you probably, patience is something you probably want to practice here for sure.
Yeah, look, the Patriots are excited about Drake Maye. That's why they drafted him where they drafted him. There's no question about it. They are not ruling out the possibility that he, and by the way, that cast around him that you're talking about, shows enough as the summer goes along that maybe he does play early in the year. They have higher hopes, for example, for those young offensive linemen, I think a lot of people do. So it's an evaluation process. But remember, the Patriots signed Jacoby Brissett before they knew what they were going to do in the draft. They were picking 3rd. There was talks about them trading back. They didn't know exactly who was going to go 1 and 2. So they are comfortable playing Jacoby Brissett as long as Drake Maye needs, and I don't think we should expect them to shy away from that.